Hi, welcome here. This is a series all about CPP, Canadian Pension Plan, and specifically about the timing of CPP, because the timing of CPP is one of the most important decisions you will make for your retirement plan. This is going to be a three-part series. I'm going to explore not only the basics of CPP, what it is that we're actually talking about when making a timing decision, but I'm going to outline the pros and the cons of taking it at age 60, 65, and 70. Now, if you've seen me on the main channel, you know I'm a fan of delaying CPP, but there are some very real, very good reasons why you would not delay to 70. We're going to explore those. We're going to explore the pros and cons, because the further I get into this industry, the more I realize my job is not to tell you what to do. My job is to outline the pros and cons of every side of a decision so that you can apply those to your situation. This is a YouTube channel that goes out to all kinds of different people. We have to make certain generalizations here that may or may not apply to your situation. This series is meant to kind of help explore those different things. Now, this is the first in this three-part series that you're watching. Please just continue on. If this is not the first in this three-part series that you're watching, you can skip to this time and get through the introduction, because it's the same intro for all three. So, without any further ado, welcome to K4's newest channel. Let's get started. All right, so first off, what is CPP? CPP, or Canadian Pension Plan, is an inflation-protected, government-backed pension income source from the government. I refer to pension income sources like CPP and OAS as foundational income sources. Foundational income sources are what we build your retirement income house on. What makes it foundational? It is not linked to a market, and it's reliable. CPP. OAS, maybe you have a pension, maybe you have access to GIS, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But CPP is definitely a foundational income source. Now, what are we talking about with timing? Just to make sure we're on the same page. So the maximum, as of the filming of today, the maximum CPP benefit you could be receiving is just a hair over $1,300 per month. The average CPP pensioner is taking $775 a month, which works out to about 60%. So I'll compare numbers at that 60% value. So if you are taking CPP early, you are penalized 0.6% per month before your 65th birthday, up to a maximum penalty of 36%. So if you were to take it at 60, you were assuming an average of $775 by 65. Your 60-year-old benefit would be $496. Now, on the flip side, you can wait beyond 65 and you're rewarded 0.7% per month after your 65th birthday, up to a maximum reward of 42%. The reward is larger than the penalty if you take it early, which is important to note as well. And for the average person expecting $775 at age 65, that will turn into $1,100 per month. So either direction, it's a pretty big difference that you're choosing between at that point. All right, so let's get into the specifics for this video. Why would you take CPP at 60? Here are my 5 top reasons why you would. The first is you need the money. Maybe you've lost your job, or you retired in your late 50s or early 60s, and you've realized that you don't have enough assets to carry you to 70 in order to delay that. You should absolutely be taking your CPP now. That makes a lot of sense. Any financial advisor who just blanket says you should be taking it at 70 and not considering the level of investment you have or the level of spending is not really taking your best interest into heart. So these things always are going to play into it. Now, the other part of this is if you do need your CPP at 60, there's a chance you may or may not qualify for GIS, or Guaranteed Income Supplement, which again is a video for another day, but it's another important government pension that you need to know about. But again, more on that another day. All right, number 2, you have a diminished life expectancy. Life expectancy is a huge part of your CPP decision. Now, for me, I go to statistics when I'm making a video like this. And so here we'll see a StatsCan website where if you are age 60, your life expectancy for both sexes combined is 22.8 years or 82.8 years total. Now, if you've seen other videos on this, we know that the break-even point on taking CPP at 65 versus 70 is 83 years old. Gee, I wonder why that is. It's exactly based on your average life expectancy, and so that's what they're taking into consideration. Now, obviously, I don't know your health situation. That's a given. I don't know your family history. I don't know your access to doctors, things of that nature. So this is an important part to be bringing into the financial planning discussion. So if you do have a diminished life expectancy, please take your CPP early. That makes a lot of sense. But before you do that, take an objective look around. Look at peers your age, look at other people around. Are you really below average of health? Are you above average of health? Are you active? What's your family history, access to doctors, things of that nature? And if you can truly honestly say, yes, I probably have a shortened life expectancy compared to 82.8 years, then again, go for it. Take your CPP early. That can absolutely make sense for you. All right, number 3, you want to invest your CPP. So this is the flip side of number 1, where you need CPP to survive your 60s. Whereas here, you don't actually technically need your CPP, and all you're going to be doing is investing it anyways. Yes, you could wait and get a larger income down the road, but if you're just going to be investing it anyways, piling it away, maybe it's going directly to the kids, it can absolutely make sense to take it early. So if you don't need your CPP, yeah, there's a pretty fair argument that 60 could make sense for you. Absolutely. Number 4, government trust. Now, I want to keep my money as my money, and I want to keep your money as your money. I don't want to pay more taxes than I have to. I hate when I get a tax return because I know that all I did was I gave the government an interest-free loan for a couple of months. That drives me crazy. And so what I don't want is I don't want you to pay 40 years into CPP and then to pass away right away. And in terms of the government's math, that's a win, right? They've taken money in, paid nothing out. And so if you don't trust the government, or if you just simply have the mindset that I need to get this money out of their hands and into my hands as fast as possible, go for it. Number 5, it takes pressure off your investments. Another way to word I'm delaying my CPP to 70 is I'm relying more on my investments in my 60s, right? And so this number 5 really plays more into the delaying argument, but it's valid here. Taking your CPP can absolutely take pressure off your investments, especially in a turbulent market. And so even for my clients who I recommend taking CPP at 70, it's never set in stone. It's not as if I anticipate them to follow it to the letter. I anticipate that we will revisit it on a yearly basis. So if you're just retiring and next year the markets are extremely, extremely turbulent and you're down 30 or 40% and you just simply do not want to add to the turbulence by withdrawing on your reduced investment value, take CPP. It can alleviate a lot of the stress on your investments and help you get to that next stage of retirement where maybe OAS comes into play, or maybe GIS if that's you, or what have you. But if you need to alleviate stress on your investments, CPP is a great way to do that. All right, so let's recap some of the pros and cons here. The first pro is that you have a more solid foundational income source in your 60s. That's a win. Another pro, you can have the option of investing your CPP through your 60s and beyond. That's a win. Number 3, you're protecting against a risk. You're protecting against the risk of premature death. If you die younger than you're anticipating, but you delayed your CPP, you may get none. Whereas taking your CPP at 60, you protect against that risk. That is an absolutely valid reason to take CPP at 60. All right, so cons. The cons here are really revolving around long-term issues, right? And by long-term, I mean age 83 and beyond. So if you live beyond age 83 and you took your CPP at 60, it is a fact that you will receive less cumulative income from CPP. That's a fact. Number 2, you are locked into that lower payment. So again, going back to those averages of 775, reduced to 496, you're locked in there. So when I look at point number 5, where it alleviates stress from your investment portfolio, Again, that's really more of an advantage for delaying to 70 because you can always bring it in at any time to alleviate. Whereas if you do take it at 60, you are locked in at that number. So if the big market turbulence ends up happening at like 67, 68, there is no reinforcements on horseback coming in for you from CPP. And number 3, long term, more will be required of your investments over a long time period. So you will actually need either better returns or more robust investment portfolio to live a long life if you take your CPP early. Now, that was a ton of information, but if you want to see how this fits in with your retirement plan, we would love to hear from you. Click on this link here that brings you to our contact form. We're looking forward to hearing from you. Take care.